Clay asks if he'll use same technique again to heal wounds. But Takeru refuses, saying the spell drains massive mana. In Mulatiria's current state, her body can't endure it right now. Takeru knows his first job is clearing the dark, stale room. He asks Mulatiria to begin with her eyes. Since she already said the light blinds her, she closes her eyes and allows it. Takeru focuses, using healing magic while controlling his mana output. After all, dumping mana too fast will surely hurt him. Seconds after, he tells her to open her eyes. When Mulatiria does, she's thrilled she can see. After confirming, Takeru uses his staff to cast cleansing magic. Strong wind sweeps the room, throws windows open, and clears dust in seconds. Light finally returns again, so Belmanon immediately asks his wife if she's okay now. Mulatiria smiles, tearful and relieved at last, saying the light no longer hurts. Belmanon weeps, though everyone's glad. Takeru still looks worried. He notices others nearby and asks Belmanon to go elsewhere to talk privately now. Belmanon agrees. Alone at last, Takeru says his wife has taken ivertoxin. There is a high possibility that someone has been poisoning her, and he doesn't know the biological mechanism behind iver poisoning, so he can't fully cure his condition. The antidote would help. Belmanon says there's no antidote. Iver's poison is a banned toxin lost to time, and its cure vanished too. Takeru stays determined, suggesting they make one. With the original poison, they can't. Clay says even if they could brew it, the poison is ancient, and they don't know if those ingredients still exist. Belmanon realizes he has a lead, so he quickly searches for old documents. He says his ancestors compiled records of ancient lords there. However, many are in an ancient tongue, so no one can decipher them. Takeru grabs a book. His skill lets him read it easily. The real problem is figuring out which book mentions Iver's poison, and how useful it'd be to search keywords like a computer quickly. Keeping that in mind, Takeru tweaks his search skill, using Buska. The new skill works instantly. One book glows, showing it has what he needs inside. Takeru opens it, saying there's a section on the Iver flower here. Belmanon says, read aloud. Takeru clears his throat, then reads in female, reading Pelapela's travel diary, an adventurer calling herself the prettiest. After a quiet, awkward silence, Clay asks if she's Takeru insists it's written that way in the diary. Belmanon ignores it and tells him to continue. Takeru gets serious, speaking in a girlish voice. The adventure in the diary describes that she was resting on an old horse-shaped rock near a huge lake, and that's when she found the most beautiful and brilliant golden flower she had ever seen. Turns out, rare flower named Clay suddenly cuts off Takeru's sharp rant, claps a hand over his mouth, and says he knows a horse-shaped rock by a big lake. Belmanon quickly pulls out a map, and Clay points near the small village of sheep, saying you'll find the lake and rock there. Belmanon says Vanoni lies beyond Luz Levitt, so by carriage it's a 5-day trip each way. Takeru says they should leave now. Belmanon readies 2 horses for them. Meanwhile, Steward Bernard watches quietly from afar and swiftly releases a messenger pigeon. Before leaving, Takeru sets a magic stone outside the mansion, saying it's security. While they're away, someone could attack Mulatiria, so we'd better stay prepared. Then Tiaras runs to him, apologizes there, saying she was rude to her mother's would-be savior. Takeru smiles and admits that his words were unpleasant, but he tells her that the fact that she realized on her own that what she said was wrong is something to be proud of. Tiaras doesn't understand, so he explains. When you admit you might be wrong, you hear others, and life grows richer. Seeing the tears in her eyes, Takeru asks her to take her time from now on and think things through one at a time. Tiaras agrees, saying she'll think for herself now, and Takeru warns her that while he's gone, Someone may claim he's the villain or that he's fooling her to mislead her. If it happens, he wants you not to reply yet. Talk to Dad first. Practice, Harenso. Report. Contact. Consult. With that settled, Takeru. In Clay Lee. Takeru casts speed and reduce on all. Clay instantly feels lighter, but before he can react, his own horse bolts too. After a while, they reach Clay's spot, but it's deserted, with no one around. Takeru, confused, asks if a village should be here. Clay says last time it was a thriving farm region, so he can't explain what happened now. As they search for the lake, Takeru says it hasn't rained in ages, so maybe it's already dried up here. Clay insists a lake that big can't just vanish. Later, they find it, but it's not what they expected. Clay says it was beautiful last time, but now it looks different. Takeru moves to the water to use his power. She says it's Lake Galeus, the only water source in Vanoni. They say a sacred beast made this spring, never dry, once clear, pure, full of life. But the water now has paleocine toxin, poison from Garanode buffalo horns. Takeru suspects someone caused this whole thing on purpose. Before he explains, nearby villagers come to watch from afar. Though wary, Takeru smiles, steps up, and says he introduces his team, saying they took a Belkane mission to gather rare materials. Villagers are surprised they came from Belkane, but still demand clear proof their guild member. Clay shows his A-rank bracelet. Villagers lower weapons. Suddenly Gansa, the boy beside them, collapses. Takeru catches him fast, instantly noticing he's shockingly light. He asks villagers if they're underfed. Their sad faces confirm it too. So he asks what happened here. Takeru carries the boy piggyback. Villagers lead them home, saying the lake turned that cursed color about 10 months ago. The fish began to die, and the well water also went bad, so they couldn't do anything. It was then that a merchant named Inganch saved the village. He offered to help the village for a shining golden flower by the lake. It matched the divine flower from their legends. But the flower site was the village's secret, so they agreed to give him one plant each month for 60 barrels of water. Yet it wasn't enough for crops, and food has dwindled since. Clay says this flower may be the Ivor flower they seek, and Takeru agrees, sensing more behind it. He tells villagers Inganch sounds awful, but they insist he treated them well. Takeru tells them to think again. It's fishy he showed up when the water turned bad and offered help at once. Earlier, he tested the water and found contamination was deliberate. He says anyone ordering a toxin monthly is suspicious from the start. Seems villagers didn't know at all the flowers they gave were poisonous. Takeru says Inganch tricked them. Villagers weep as the truth sinks in. Inganch duped them, let their children starve, then used Ivor's poison to hurt someone else too. Takeru can't forgive this, so he's set to wreck Inganch's little plan himself. He tells Vi to use spirit magic. The dragon flies above clouds and roars. Within seconds, clouds turn dark gray, and villagers marvel at rain returning after so long. When Takeru's had enough, he tells Vi to stop, draws staff, and uses cleansing magic on villagers. Then he uses repair to restore the village instantly and calls for a meal. Takeru pulls a huge pot from his bag, cooking his favorite soup for all. He's glad seeing everyone happy, and the same villager says he's done too much. They can't repay him at all. Takeru says don't worry. He asks permission to find and gather the Ivor flower, since someone needs that antidote. The villager agrees right away, promising to take him there, but mentions a snag. Before he explains it, village kids crowd Takeru, eager to play now. The villager scolds them, reminding them they still owe Takeru. Clay says not to worry, but the old man insists that revealing the flower's location isn't enough payment. Takeru goes to play with the kids, happy to see them excited. Clay tells the elder that trust in something precious to the village is reward enough. The villager agrees at last. Meanwhile, Gunsa leads Takeru to a base. Barn storing last autumn's Lita's fruit. Takeru eyes the fruit and asks to try it, but Gunsa says it's too salty. Lita's flower nectar is sweet. The fruit's worthless, so they toss it. After checking it, Takeru tries one, stunned to find it tastes exactly like soy sauce to him. Elsewhere, an alarm sounds at Luz Levick's mansion, and Tiaris bolts to her mother's room, knowing its meaning. Takeru set a barrier Mulatiria's room. Anyone with ill intent nearing her would trigger a law. Tiaris wonders who'd hurt her mom. Upon reaching her room, she finds Bernard trying to force the door. Seeing fear in her eyes, Bernard approaches calmly and tells her to relax. Tiaris asks if he tried to kill her mother. He says he had no reason at all. She says Takeru warned. Anyone nearing her mother with bad intent triggers the alarm. Bernard asks if she trusts his words, warning her adventurers are rough, greedy folks. He says they just want others' money, so that alarm must be a con to fool her. Tiaris denies it, saying Takeru is kind, far more courteous and respectful than she's been. Bernard urges her. Think. Ask herself who to trust. A rootless roaming adventurer, or someone who served his family with total loyalty. With a threatening stare, Bernard says to her the answer's obvious. Tiaris is terrified. Seeing her father, she runs to him and asks for Harenso. Belmanin hears both, admits Takeru may trick them. Still, Takeru helped his wife recover, and his alarm shows Bernard is dangerous now. He can't tell who's truthful, so Bernard proves his innocence. Belmanin pours water, says it's special for his wife's treatment, and asks Bernard to drink it now. Bernard doubts. Belmanin insists, reminding him he said nutritious. Seeing him so nervous, Belmanin throws water at once. Bernard screams, panics, shouting it's. Bernard covers his face and collapses dramatically. But Belmanin calmly sips and says it's only water. Bernard's so-called medicine is sealed so no one drinks it. Now exposed. Bernard on the spot. Belmanin tells Raymond to call guards. Once Bernard is arrested, Raymond informs Belmanin that they found something among Bernard's personal belongings. Tiaris sees the document, asks its language, can't read it. Belmanin's too shocked to answer. Meanwhile, in Ash, a man pounds door, searching for someone. A villager hears the racket, comes over with a lamp, and tells the man to hush. It's midnight. People sleep now. He asks what he wants. The man counters, asking where the village chief is. The villager says he's out, but his face suddenly shifts when he recognizes him. Back with Belmanin, he examines the letter from Bernard's things and says it's in cipher, meaning whoever did this is far more skilled than a thug. Raymond agrees and mentions that this whole affair could be linked to a much larger organization. The villager stranger is in Gaunch. He says he's here for this month's Ivor flowers, though it's still early, so he asks where the village chief is. But the villager says he just left, and he led the adventurers to scout nearby. Gaunch isn't pleased, but the villager says he heard the Ivor flower is poisonous, so they can't keep handing it out as if nothing. It's too dangerous. The moment he says it, Gaunch speaks one word. Right away, armed bandits show up within seconds. It's clear they're not friendly, and Gaunch says plans change. So this ends here and now for good. No delays. Meanwhile, guards transport Bernard, blocking any escape attempts. However, even though it should all be over for him by now, a cunning smile remains on his face, making it clear that he is still up to something. The village chief leads Takeru and Clay to where the Ivor flower grows. After a short walk, the soil turns sandy. He says they're near now. A few minutes later, they find the horse statue mentioned in the ancient documents written by that adventurer. The statue is ringed with golden flowers glowing brightly, and behind them lies a vast lake as expected. In person, more stunning than expected, Takeru finally gets why it's called the Divine Flower. The imposing statue seems celestially illuminated by the moonlight, making the flowers glow almost magically. Seeing it, Takeru, Clay, and even the village chief pause to admire its beauty in awed silence before acting. Chapter 7 ends here.